Welcome, everyone, to Truth and Freedom Podcast, where awakening begins with asking the questions most people are afraid to ask. I'm your host, Dr. Dan Amzallag, and this is not just another podcast. This is a journey into awareness, courage, and truth. Now, today's topic is one we all face, though most of us face it quietly, which is the voice inside that tells us we're not enough. That inner critic, that whispers that says, you could have done better, you're falling behind, you'll never get it right. Now, for some, it's just faint echo. For others, it's a constant noise that shapes every decision, every dream, every relationship. The truth is, we all have that voice, but few of us ever stop to ask, whose voice is it really? Because often, that inner critic isn't truly ours. It's a collection of words we've absorbed from others, parents, teachers, peers, or even past failures, all internalized until they became our own self-talk. And over time, we stop questioning it. We start believing it. We mistook self-protection for truth. The critic was never meant to destroy you. It was built to protect you. It learned early on that if it kept you small, if it kept you quiet, maybe you wouldn't be rejected, embarrassed, or hurt again. But here's the paradox. The same voice that once tried to keep you safe is now the one keeping you stuck. Now, healing the inner critic doesn't mean silencing it. It means understanding it. It means hearing that voice and saying, thank you for trying to protect me, but I don't need you to run the show anymore. Because every time you choose self-trust over self-criticism, you weaken the power of that inner narrative. Now just think about this for a moment. If you spoke to your best friend the way you sometimes speak to yourself, would that relationship survive? Would they feel supported, encouraged, or even loved? Probably not. And yet, that's how many of us treat ourselves daily, with judgment instead of compassion. You can't hate yourself into becoming your best self. Transformation doesn't grow from shame. It grows from understanding. Now, when you trust yourself, you give yourself permission to be human, to make mistakes, to learn, to evolve without punishment. The inner critic thrives in perfectionism. It feeds on comparison, fear, and even control. But when you start practicing grace, when you say, I'm doing my best and that's enough for today, the critic loses its grip. Self-trust doesn't mean believing you'll never mess up again. It means believing you'll handle it when you do. That's confidence, not arrogance, but quiet faith in your own resilience. Because every time you doubt yourself, what you're really doubting is the ability to recover. But when you've survived 100% of your hardest days so far, proof that you're far more capable than your critic gives you credit for. Now, healing the inner critic is also about rewriting your story. Instead of saying, I failed, try saying, I learned. Or maybe instead of saying, I'm not ready, try saying, I'm still growing. Now, the language you use with yourself creates your reality. You are the narrator of your inner world, and it's time to stop letting fear hold the pen. Now, here's something to remember. Self-doubt often appears right before a breakthrough. The critic gets louder when you're about to do something brave, because courage threatens the comfort of fear. So the next time that voice says, you can't, answer back with, watch me. When you practice self-trust, you stop waiting for external validation to tell you who you are. You start showing up from the deeper place, from knowing, not needing. And something beautiful happens when you do. Your energy changes. You begin to attract relationships and opportunities that reflect your new level of self-respect. Because when you speak to yourself with love, you raise the standard for how others speak to you as well. So here's your reflection for today. What story has your inner critic been telling you? And what would you change if, starting today, you choose a kinder narrative? Now, the critic will always be there. It's a part of you being human. But over time, its voice fades beneath the sound of your truth. Because your truth is stronger. Your truth is wiser. And your truth knows that growth doesn't come from fear. It comes from faith. Now, you are not your mistake, especially the one from the past. You are the awareness learning from it all. And every time you choose to trust yourself, you reclaim a piece of freedom that's always been yours. So tonight, take a deep breath and say to yourself, I am doing my best. I am learning. I am enough. Because that's not just self-care. That's self-respect. That's truth. And that's ultimately is freedom. So as this episode was recorded on the eve of Thanksgiving holiday, it offers a meaningful opportunity to pause and appreciate the essentials, which is being alive, having loved ones to share the season with, and having food on the table to nourish ourselves and those who matter the most to us. These simple blessings remind us of our value, both to ourselves and to others. I'd like to wish a warm and heartfelt happy Thanksgiving to all of our loyal listeners. Stay tuned for more truth at our next episode.